So hold on a second. Before you even say the name, you have a motherfucking season 9 episode in your top 10 of your favorite Simpsons episodes of all time. Season 9.
Right, season 9. This is one of my favorite episodes of all time. It is so fucking funny. So earlier you said you were like, Itchy and Scratchy Land might be the best bottle episode Simpsons Go to a Place.
Yep.
This is definitely a close second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is one of those, but I think this is before it turned to shit. Sorry, I'm moving shit around. I got cables everywhere. Everything's fucking near me. Okay, here we go. My number 8 coming in from season 9, episode 1. It's the fucking first episode opener. The City of New York versus Homer Simpson.
Dad, you got a letter from the City of New York.
Psh, throw it away. Nothing good has ever come out of New York City.
Oh, that is a good episode.
I fucking love this episode. Yeah. Holy shit, is this good. Now, we're going to get to this, not in this video, but in the next video. I actually did a breakdown of all the episodes of season 9 and 10 to give a bit of a ratio.
Interesting.
Because I know
this is the first episode of season 9. I know the second episode of season 9.
I know. And that's what's interesting about, well, let's just quickly comment. Historically, most people say the day the Simpsons died was, what is the episode called?
The Principal and the Pauper?
Principal and the Pauper.
Yeah.
It's the second episode of season 9. It is so weird that season 9 opens with, in my opinion, one of the series' best, followed by one of the series' worst.
Very interesting.
It's so interesting, but I'm going to save it for the next video.
Yeah, that'll be for the next video.
I have a breakdown of the ratio of good episodes versus bad episodes in 9 and 10, because I know in your mind, you write off 9 and 10. There's some gems in 9 and 10.
I believe you. They
really are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're offset by some real stinkers.
I just don't revisit that season enough to be like, oh, I know, like, this is a really good one. I do know this episode.
I hear you.
I do know this episode.
Okay, so the episode begins with Moe informing. So Homer and his friends are at the bar drinking at Moe's, and Moe informs them all that they need a designated driver because according to the police, 91% of all traffic accidents in the area are caused by you 6 guys, which is, I find fucking amazing. And and they're all like proud of it. They're all like high-fiving.
Yeah.
And Moe's like, yeah, I know. And then he's like, but because of that, for insurance reasons, we need to have a designated driver from now on. And
this is great.
The way they pick this is so good. Do you remember this? Like Moe's.
I don't remember how they pick, but I remember the whole rigmarole of.
So the way they pick it, according to Moe, is we're gonna pick it the same way they picked the Pope, and he takes out a big thing of pickled eggs.
Oh yes, the pickled eggs.
Big jar of
whoever
pickled eggs.
Whoever gets the rotten one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, whoever picks the black egg has to be the designated driver. So they all reach into this jar of the same way they picked the Pope.
Yeah, what?
Such a funny line. So they all reach in, grab an egg, and everyone is like, no one wants the egg because everyone wants to, drink and have a good time. And the biggest drunk of the group, Barney, gets the black egg.
Yep.
Yes, he gets the rotten egg. So Barney must remain sober to be the designated driver for everybody else, while everybody else gets to party and get drunk and have a good time. Everyone is like partying it up and being an idiot.
Just getting
smashed in the background. And Barney, meanwhile, is like sitting on the counter, like gritting his teeth, like torture, like eating like peanuts.
Yeah.
You know?
He's an alcoholic on top
Yes.
of it already being obnoxious to DD for a bunch of drunk, your super drunk friends.
Yeah, he actually is like an alcoholic.
He's also an alcoholic, so it's
so then we get introduced. So to make it even worse, so Barney's already on edge. To make it even worse, do you remember who shows up? First appearance.
I don't recall.
First appearance of Duff Man.
No.
Yes.
That's the first appearance?
First appearance is this episode. It's all the way into season 9.
You're fucking kidding me.
Nope. 100%. I looked this up. So Barney's like sitting at the bar and everyone's drinking behind him, having a good time. And then you hear like, like this pounding, thumping music starts going. And then like things on the counter start like bobbing. And Barney's like,
I can't believe that's the first appearance.
First appearance, season 9.
Wow.
So then Barney's like, oh no, any night, but tonight, not tonight.
Not tonight.
So then Duff Man, who they now introduce, is so Duff Beer is the imaginary beer that exists in the Simpsons verse, right?
Yep.
It's long running. It's in all the episodes. Duffman is now introduced as the mascot face of the brand.
Oh, no. Oh, not tonight. Not tonight.
Are you ready to get duffed?
Hey, it's Duffman, the guy in a costume that creates awareness of Duff.
Duffman wants to party down with the man who sent in 10,000 Duff labels.
And he's like, it's like a muscular guy,
Super
in like
macho,
spandexy, wearing big thick sunglasses. He actually kind of looks a little similar to my store mascot, Biff McFarlane, with like the cool shades. You put shades on anything, it looks kind of cool, right? And he's like a macho guy, and he's wearing like a spandexy type shirt, and he has a red cape.
Yeah, he's got the red cape, red hat. I think he's got a belt
of Duff beers,
cans. Yeah.
So Duffman shows up with a bunch of like hot chicks with like pom poms. They're like cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And Duffman's like, I am here for one man who sent in the most Duff beer labels to be presented with this bottomless Duff beer drink. So on the one night Barney has to be sober,
wins this huge
he wins
prize.
this huge prize for drinking so much Duff beer. And so then they're presenting it, and the girls are like, chug, chug, chug. And then Barney's just like, I can't. I'm the designated driver. And there's like the record scratch moment. Yeah. And then Duffman's just like, yeah, Duffman Duff Beer proudly supports designated driving programs. Now, who is ready to party with Duffman? So they just like party without Barney, so he doesn't even get to celebrate his own like victory.
Yeah.
And then there's a great sequence where Barney's driving them home, and
I love that.
And they're all low. And anyone
being
who's
so obnoxious in the back of the car.
anyone who's ever had to deal with like obnoxious drunk friends, so they're all being obnoxious in the car, saying stupid shit.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Does he say something like that?
Yes, because they're all like, oh, they don't want the night to end, right? Because when you're drunk, you just want to keep it like, let's party all night. You know, we'll live forever. So like, it's Carl, Lenny, and Homer are in the car, and it's Homer's car, but Barney's driving it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, let's go to the Playboy Mansion. No, let's go here. And then Homer's like, it's my car. We're going to the lost city of gold.
I'm trying to drive.
Hey, let's go to the girls' college.
No, the Playboy Mansion. Playboy Mansion.
Shut up. It's my car, and I say we're going to the lost city of gold. Well, that's just drunk talk. Sweet, beautiful drunk talk.
And Barney's like, that doesn't even make sense. That's just crazy talk. Sweet, sweet, drunk, crazy talk. Because they're all just drunk and having a good time.
Yeah.
So then he drops Homer off, and he goes, and Homer's like, oh, yeah, just bring it back tomorrow, Barney. Don't worry about it. And Barney's like, ooh, I get to keep your car?
Keep the car.
Now I'm going to
overnight.
go on a bender. And then
Yeah.
it cuts forward, and now Barney's been missing for several days, and Homer's like putting up flyers of like, have you seen this man and my car? And it's like a picture of Barney in the car. And Homer's like, face it, Homer. Barney ain't never coming back. And I love there's a quick little gag of Homer is like in his garage, and he's making his own car. Do you remember this? And it's like a it's like a mattress with like wheels.
Yeah.
And he like puts like tapes flashlights on the front for like his headlights.
That's a good gag.
And Marge is like, Homer, I don't like the idea of you driving your own car. And Homer's like, Marge, you can pick apart my plan, or you can sew me some seatbelts. And she's like, sorry. She's like, sewing seatbelts? So then Homer, Barney actually shows up again, but he basically was just on a blackout bender. He doesn't even remember what happened. He has no idea where the car went. And Homer's just like, well, that's just great. Now I don't have a car, right? But a letter in the mail shows up from the city of New York.
New York City.
New York City. immediately Homer's like, fucking throw it in the trash. Well, he didn't say fucking, but he's like, throw it in the trash. Nothing good ever comes out of that shitty city. To which all of his family members are like, what? Like, where's this coming from? And then Homer reveals I love this flashback. You know the flashback I'm talking about?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Set to the classic piano song, The Entertainer, we get a flashback of 1970s crime-ridden New York. And this is why Homer hates New York City. He went there as like a young man and had this awful experience visiting what would have then been the peak of like crime-ridden New York.
Crime-ridden shithole downtown New York.
Yeah. And it's this great like montage with it's like a silent film thing. And it's all this shitty shit happening to like Homer. Like he gets there and then like immediately like a guy steals his briefcase or steals his luggage, and then another guy steals his camera. And then like someone steals his wallet. Like it's like it's like cartoony. It's like a Buster Keaton skit. And then like a hot dog or a seagull like swoops down and steals his hot dog. And then like someone dumps like garbage on him and he throws like the banana peel at a pimp. And then the pimp chases Homer. And it's just such a fun little segment. It's over the top fun. So then Homer doesn't want to go. The letter, I didn't say this. The letter from New York reveals that his car is parked illegally at the bottom of the two World Trade Centers. Yes, the trade centers were still around at the time.
Yeah.
So it's at the bottom of the Trade Center Plaza.
Right,
so it's
in the plaza.
In the middle of the two World Trade Center buildings.
Between the
and
two
it's
towers.
like loaded. The fucking thing's like loaded with parking tickets. So at some point during Barney's escapades, the car somehow ended up there and just got dumped.
He somehow drove it there.
So basically, New York City's like sending him that thing.
Well, that's a fun setup that Barney just went on a bender and somehow drove the car to New York and just abandoned it.
And that's where it ended up. Yeah. So it's a threatening letter being like, hey, if you don't come pick up your car, we're basically going to destroy it. Like you either, this is your last chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Homer doesn't want to go. He's like, fuck it, right? But then Bart is like, oh, well, we can go. We can take like a Super Saver bus trip. And it's only like $6 fare. Like, let's go. And then Homer's just like begrudgingly like, fine. Because he doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
But the family's super excited because they're like, wow, we get to go to New York?
Yeah,
this
big
is
trip.
Great.
This is going to be cool.
So what follows, to finish explaining the plot, what follows is the Simpsons make it to New York. Homer spends the entire episode going through an ordeal trying to retrieve his car, while the family actually goes around and enjoys the tourist
sees
attractions
the sights,
and actually has a good vacation trip. What do you think of this episode? Because
this is a brilliant episode. Yeah, I don't begrudge like season 9 and 10. Like you said, I imagine there are gems in there. I just find post Principal and the Pauper, and then those seasons end up being a little weaker. I just haven't bothered to explore them as much. That being said, this is an iconic one. I think I saw this one a lot when we were kids. And I can see why you have it so highly rated.
I
fondly recall watching it on TV all the time. This was a popular episode for reruns and things like that. And,
did you know this was hiding in season 9, or did you think it was season
forgot.
7 or 8?
I kind of just
no, you couldn't. Yeah, because you didn't.
I rewatched them, so I guess I just never thought of it. It just slipped my mind that like this quality episode was hidden in 9. But like you said, it's another Simpsons travel like bottle episode where it's like, let's get the Simpsons family in the car and go somewhere, similar to Itchy and Scratchy Land. But goddamn, yeah, this is a fun one.
This is where it's done right, and we're going to talk about this later.
I think they abuse this format as the seasons go on.
Hold that thought. This is probably the last time they did it right,
because this becomes almost like Treehouse of Horror, where it's like we got to have one almost every season.
Every season, The Simpsons. Yeah, we'll get to it. Hold that thought. I have a lot to say on that. I like it's a relatively simple setup done to perfection. Which the simple setup is Homer just trying to get his car back, but so much shit comes out of that. Like they mine it so well, and it's very relatable. It's one of those things where it's like if you've ever had to do anything where you must be here from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and someone's going to show up at some point. Like that frustration
Oh
of
my God,
going
yeah.
through the system, figuring all that shit out. So Homer finds his car and then he calls into there's a number on the car, and then it turns out he's got to wait for a bylaw officer to show up because his car has been, not only is it ticketed to hell, it's got a boot on it.
Yeah, it's got the boot.
It's been
on
booted, so he
Yep.
can't drive the fucking thing. So he now has to wait. He has to waste the entire day while his family's out having fun, visiting the city. He is now stuck just sitting on his car doing fucking nothing.
Yeah, so he can't enjoy the trip at all.
No.
I also wanted to ask, after the montage of Homer's poor experience, the flashback of his bad experience, is that book ended with, and then the chuds came after me?
Yes, yeah.
That's the famous, I love that line.
And then the chuds came
And that's
after.
when the chuds came.
Yeah, which is a reference, obviously, to the relatively obscure horror film Chud.
Yeah,
which
and
is like
then-
these mutant creatures in the sewer system of New York.
And Marge has a great line where she's like, oh, Homer, New York's not all pimps and chuds. Pimps and chuds?
That's great. So while Homer's waiting, he starts to get hungry, but he can't leave the car because he's so worried. And they're tempting him. There's a pizza. There's a pizza shop right across, within eyesight, right across the street. And he so badly wants to get to it.
But far enough where
if he leaves, he might miss the guy. So then a guy rolls up, and this is the shashkalash, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The street meat vendor, where he's like, hey, can I...
Krakalash or
whatever it
Yeah.
is. It's some weird, bizarre street meat. And the guy, it's like this random vendor, and Homer's like, can I give you some money to go get me a pizza? And he's like, no pizza, krashkalash. And then Homer's like, all right, fine. And he buys one. It's like the most just disgusting looking street meat.
Yeah.
And he eats it, he finishes it, and then he's like, do you have anything to wash that awful taste in my mouth? It's like crab juice and Mountain Dew.
Ugh.
I'll take the crab juice.
Yeah.
Which as a kid,
Bravo.
It's a funny joke, but as a kid, as someone who loves Mountain Dew, that one hurt. Like I always,
Oh, really?
I was
Yeah.
always like, why do you gotta hate on Mountain
We
Dew?
always thought that was hilarious growing up. Just
Everybody takes shots at Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always a thing.
crab
I don't
juice
know
or
why.
Mountain Dew. Ugh. Take the crab
Take the crab juice. And then what this culminates in Homer eventually having to piss because he drinks a bunch of crab juice, but he can't leave the car. And then, of course, Homer's just like, all right, fuck it, I can't do it anymore. So then he has to run and take a piss. And, of course, by comedic timing, as he's taking a piss, he looks out the window and does the bylaw officer then show up. By the way, I to add insult to injury, writes him another ticket and adds it to the pile of tickets. I don't know if you caught that. He's writing another one. Yeah, and then Homer's just like, damn it, pissed. So actually, let's get into a little bit about the Simpsons formula. So I've got here, it could have easily devolved into what would later become the Vacation Simpsons formula, which is the Simpsons are going to blank.
Yeah.
That formula. But it doesn't. And that's the question is, what makes it different than those later ones? Why does this one work, but the later ones are just derivative crap? They're just unfunny crap. And
you can only mine the same, Simpsons go to wherever.
I think why this one, because this is getting later now. We're season 9.
Yeah.
I think why this one works so well is the writing is spot on. So while they go with the Simpsons go to a tourist trap, they do a funny joke there. That works really well.
Yeah.
So all of the moments with the actual family walking around works great. They have funny jokes around them. It's good writing. Homer's scenario, that could have been anywhere.
It's very relatable.
It didn't need to be New York. So it is a funny scenario that does not rely on the setting. It relies on it very little. It could have just been another city.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So it works so well.
That's true.
Some little funny moments that I like when Bart, Lisa, and Marge are actually taking in the sights and sounds. When they get on the subway, Lisa's talking to just some random crazy homeless guy. And she's like, how about it? we'll do this. You give me your information and I'll write you. And then he's like, okay, send it to Jesus, care of the Pentagon.
Here's a better idea. You give me your address and I'll write to you.
Okay, just send it to Jesus, care of the Pentagon.
Talking to a crazy person.
Yeah, just like so dark. They visit Chinatown for like a second, and and Lisa sees the ups. At this point, I believe Lisa's a vegetarian at this point.
I think so. Yeah.
So she sees the like dead rabbits hung up in the window.
Yeah.
And then
no,
she's
they're
like,
sleeping or whatever.
Mom, are those rabbits dead? No, honey, they're just sleeping upside down and inside out.
Mom, are those rabbits dead?
No, Lisa, they're just sleeping. Upside down and inside out.
She's like trying to protect her like innocent
She's still
daughter.
a child, but it's like, yeah. It's funny.
And there's so many great little moments in this. And my favorite moment.
Not the crab juice.
No.
Okay.
Well, not my favorite moment of the whole episode, but
Yeah.
of the tourist places they go to, my favorite attraction is they go and see a Broadway production.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite little music moments. Like they do music. The Simpsons are very connected to music, like music numbers.
Yeah.
Like specifically like singing. There's a lot of singing in The Simpsons, especially in the golden era.
By season 9, there's already several musical
But
episodes.
yeah, musical episodes, musical moments, great songs, and they're all really well written.
Yeah.
Some of them are up to the tier of like South Park is God tier, but some of them are close to that tier for sure. This is one of my favorite little music moments. They go to. Do you remember the Broadway play they go see?
I'm trying to think. It's not Guys and Dolls, is it?
No, that's the Mark Hamill episode.
That's the Mark Hamill. I don't remember.
Okay. So they go to Kickin' It, a musical journey through the Betty Ford Clinic.
Oh, that's right.
That's
this is
moment.
amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you will permit me, I will try to remember the lyrics of this thing.
Yeah.
I remember some of it. Let's see if I can get this. I fucking love this sketch.
I know the sketch. Yeah.
He's guilty of mayhem, exposure, indecent, freaked out behavior, both chronic and recent, drinking and driving, narcotics possession. And that's just page one of his 10-page confession. I should lock you away where you can't kill or maim us, but this is LA and you're rich and famous. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go, folks. Sorry if that was obnoxious. I fucking love that moment. It's so catchy.
Yeah,
it's just always
that's so
stuck in
good.
my head. Yeah.
I forgot that was season 9 too.
That's
yeah,
in that
goddamn.
episode. Yeah, that's that episode. And there's more to that. I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but there's more to it where it's like...
I'm checking in. No more pills or alcohol. No more pot or Demerol. No more stinking fun at all. I'm checking in. He's checking in.
No more stinking fun at all.
Fun at all.
Oh, he's checking in. It's like a Charlie.
I'm checking in.
It's like a Charlie Sheen looking guy too.
Or Robert Downey.
Oh yeah, maybe
Too.
it was supposed
I
to be
think it was
Robert
Robert
Downey,
Downey.
but I love that little moment. And I will finish up by saying it ramps up. So many some of the episodes that I like the most are the ones where they stick the landing, where it's like it starts off high, it climaxes, but then the ending is like it's still close to like the level. You know, it doesn't dip.
Well, it is funny because really strong episodes like this, where it's like the setup is so innocuous. It's just, oh, Barney's got to be the DD tonight, and we wind up in New York City with all those ridiculous things.
It just goes
happening.
like, brrr, but then the ending is like it's not far off. Like it's still peak funny. So I think this ending is perfect.
Okay.
So what ends up happening is at this point, it's getting late in the day. Homer has said, we're gonna meet in the park before sundown, because after sundown, that's when the real crazies come out. Because he's being very protective of his family, right? And his family's kind of like, okay, Homer, like, okay, Dad, we'll do that. The entire day, the family has been having this magical, wonderful family trip. Homer, meanwhile, has been going through hell.
A nightmare,
dealing with the fucking car. At this point, because he had to piss, he now has missed the bylaw officer who was supposed to remove the boot. So now he's like, well, I'm fucked, but it's getting dark. I'm like, I got to get out of here. I got to rescue my family in a sense. I got to get them the fuck out of the city. He snaps and he ends up driving on the boot. And the boot just shreds, just shears the metal all around the wheel well of his car.
His entire wheel well gets destroyed.
And he's driving, it's like, boom, boom, boom. Like, it's just like, it's so nonsense that he would actually attempt this, right?
Yeah.
And again, everyone else,
that would destroy the car.
Oh, of course. Well, I'm getting to it. So everyone else is just having a great time. Homer now he is now reaching boiling point of anger and frustration. He is like getting so ramped up and angry. So he's like, fuck it. I'm going to drive on the goddamn boot. He starts driving on the boot, and as he's driving on it, it's scraping the asphalt off the road and throwing rocks at all the cars behind him, and it's like cracking their windshield. So then all like it's all like New York cabbies. There's like, hey, get the fuck off the road, man. And everyone's like yelling at Homer, like, hey, everyone's honking at him because he's also driving slow because he can't drive normal speed because it's like do. And Homer's just like, he snaps. It's like he's just see him like so angry. He's like in this rage. And it's just like, he's like, shut up. And he puts on the radio. Do you remember this?
No.
He puts on the radio, and it just cuts to like this calm, serene music. It's like, everything is beautiful. and Homer's like, he's just so angry, like boiling. And he's like listens to it for like 2 seconds where he's just like, and then just he smashes the radio.
Get off the road, you freaking maniac!
Yeah, you jackass!
Shut up!
Everything is beautiful in its own way.
He just smashes the radio because he's like, he just won't calm down.
Yeah.
He's not going to calm down. Nothing's going to calm him down. He then ends up pulling off to the road and grabs, because he sees a jackhammer that someone's using.
Yeah.
He grabs the jackhammer to take off, like to do the most unprofessional mechanic job, removing the boot off his tire.
Dangerous.
He ends up like annihilating his car. It like blows out the windows of the car. The hood is like all dinted in. The fender falls off. It's like all just a wreck, but he gets the boot off.
Yeah.
So now he's like, all right, fuck it. He slams the hood on. He just gets in the car. He's like, and just peels off. And then it cuts back to the family, and they're like having this beautiful, serene, like, horse ride. It's like a horse buggy, like a horse carriage. Carriage ride through Central Park. Meanwhile, and then it comes back to Homer, and he's like driving on the grass like a madman, trying to find them. And then he pulls up right beside the cart, and and they don't realize it's him at first. And then like the horse carriage like driver is just like, oh my god, there's some crazy madman. He starts like whipping at Homer, like it turns like into Mad Max for a second. And then he just yells and gets everyone to pile in the car.
Yep.
And then Homer finally makes it out of New York alive with a shitload of ticket debt to that state and his car destroyed.
Completely destroyed.
The family doesn't even ask him any questions. They're driving away over the bridge, and the entire family, the rest of the family who's just had this magical trip, they all just start gushing about how lovely it was.
All the wonderful things.
And they look out the back window, which is, I think, blown out at this point, and they see this because now it's like the sun is going down.
Yeah, the sun
so
is
you're getting
setting.
the nice night line. And you get this beautiful picturesque shot of like all the buildings in New York like lighting up, and I think it's Lisa's like, wow, what a magical city. And it cuts back to Homer, and there's a dump truck in front of him, and it's just garbage is just spilling out the back, and it's like heinous garbage, and it's spilling out and hitting his hood and then exploding into his face
because he has no windshield.
Because in a windshield. and as this is happening, Lisa's like, "Can we come back next year, Dad?" And Homer's just like, "We'll see, honey. We'll see."
Can we come back next year, Dad?
We'll see, honey. We'll see.
And you just see like it's like medical
like,
waste,
yeah,
just
like diapers,
yeah,
and shit like
diapers
that.
and like needles just like are
Yeah.
in his face, and then it zooms out and we hear it's New York, New York, I believe it's the song. It starts in the dun 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 dun. I love this episode.
Bravo.
It's
Yeah.
just this episode. There's gems in 9 and 10. There's gems.
I forgot. Yeah.
There's gems. You know, that's one of them. That's one of them.
Touche.
It's one of my
yeah.
favorite ones. One of my favorite ones. Yeah, that's such a good episode.
Yeah.